My personal experience with EVs. So I am an EV enthusiast. I've been an EV enthusiast since about 2010, 2012, before it got really sexy. I started working in the EV space, specifically in the charging infrastructure business side of SDG&E in 2016. And I was involved with our initial, very first EV charging infrastructure program called Power Your Drive. And we installed over 2,000 charging ports at workplaces, apartments, and condos. And those were level 2 chargers primarily at over about 250 sites. And since then, I am still on the clean transportation team in the charging infrastructure business, having all kinds of fun, loving it, and have been involved in our current EV charging infrastructure programs that we're offering, called Power Your Drive for Fleets, which is focused on charging infrastructure for medium and heavy duty fleets that are moving to electric, as well as our Power Your Drive for apartments, condos, and workplaces program as well. And I was also involved in our smaller pilot programs, the chargers that you see here at MacArthur Park at the city of La Mesa. Had a good time working with municipalities throughout the region in installing public chargers, level 2 and DC fast throughout the region. And that is my experience with EVs. I continue to be an EV enthusiast, and I said it before and I'll say it again, once you drive electric, you'll never go back.
What do you see as the utilities' role in electrification?
The utilities' role in electrification, the majority of my experience is really in the charging infrastructure space, and that is our role. We have, that is our core competence. That's what we do as a business, providing the charging infrastructure and to provide energy to the community. And with transportation being the largest contributor to air pollution and greenhouse gas emissions in the state of California, it's a really important sector to focus on, transportation. And there's always the chicken and the egg conflict, right? What comes first, the charging infrastructure or the electric vehicles? And once I found out that SDG&E was installing charging infrastructure on campus for employees, I immediately went out and leased my first EV because I had the confidence knowing that I could make it to work and take it back home.
How can we address affordability and equity issues that come with any emergence of a new technology?
Yeah, it's a really, really important component within our utility and within everything that we do. Really, we need to look at everything that we do with an equity lens. And what I will share is that our charging infrastructure programs that we offer all have a very aggressive equity component. We have to install, we're mandated by the decision that was awarded by the California Public Utilities Commission to install this charging infrastructure in areas who are, burdened by the poorest of air quality in our region and throughout the state, really. Other investor and utilities throughout the state have this similar same mandates. So it makes sense to install the infrastructure in these areas to help lighten that air pollution and create cleaner air. The other thing that I wanted to point to is the energy affordability. It's a really important component when talking and speaking about equity, right? And then we want to make this technology available to everyone. And so that is a really important component. I think that EV charging, widespread adoption of EVs gives us the opportunity to have a larger baseload in which to spread those costs and help to drive down the per kilowatt hour costs for everyone. And then obviously, cleaner air, everyone benefits from cleaner air. And those that live in and around, our transportation corridors are the most burdened ones. And, by transitioning to zero emission vehicles throughout the state. We're going to have cleaner air, and that is going to trickle down to those communities as well.
How do you communicate the benefits of EVs to some of those communities?
Yeah, really good question. Obviously we have our Love Electric campaign, the branded car here, that communicates the benefits of not only owning, or leasing EVs, but kind of educating on the benefits of EVs. And we do that in several different languages for our customers. And then we're really engaged with our community-based organizations within our region. We consider them our partners. They have the direct connection to folks in certain areas within our community that we need to reach, and they have a closer touch point. And so we leverage those relationships and those opportunities. And then we do a number of outreach events out in the community. As a matter of fact, we just had our EV Day, Electric Vehicle Day, on October 1st in Liberty Station. And it's always an amazing event. It's a fun family event, community event. Kids can come, get their faces painted. People can actually get behind the wheel and test drive an electric vehicle in a no pressure environment. So that was on October 1st. We held our very first EV Fleet Day in April of this year. And that was our very first event focused on fleet operators who are transitioning some of their fleets to electric as well. And we had our first adaptive ride and drive and where we partnered with the Challenged Athletes Foundation as well as Toyota and adapted some of the electric vehicles to allow folks with those challenges kind of get behind the wheel and test drive electric vehicles as well. So we're out in the community, working with our partners, working within departments at SDG&E to get the messaging out to our customers through a number of different channels.
I think we had an event on October 1st too, right? As a community
with
ride and drive.
Yeah,
CPS Energy.
Always...
With CPS Energy out of San Antonio, we partnered with them.
Oh, cool.
Right on.
One of the final questions we love to ask people is what's something you believe that other people might think is crazy?
I don't know if other people think it's crazy, but what's crazy to me is that there's not more EVs on the road today because the cost of charging up your vehicle, especially if you're on a special EV rate, like the EV2U5 rate, like I am at home, you can charge for a fraction of the cost of the fuel cost using electricity as it is for gasoline. And I think, I don't know how crazy that is, but that's what I love to talk about, because regardless of where you stand politically, what bottom line is, transitioning to electric makes complete sense. And it's a fraction of the cost that it costs today to pay for gas to fuel an internal combustion engine car. So there's never been a better time to love electric.
Do you have any words of advice to other utilities that may be behind or aren't in California?
Advice to other utilities. Well, I think other utilities always look to California, right? Because we are way out front, and we are way out front because of the regulations and the policies throughout the state. So I think sharing the message about what it is that we're doing and how we're doing it. Don't be afraid, because loving electric is the future.